Hi, Astrid. How are you?
Good, and you?
I'm doing wonderful. Thank you. We're here today with Astrid Rodriguez, I don't want to say new agent, but a newer agent that we work together, and she's been kind enough to spend a little bit of time with me, and she's going to tell us what it takes to be a real estate agent here in Las Vegas. First of all, how you doing today?
Good. Trying to stay hydrated. It's hot out there.
It's extremely hot. Astrid, let's start with this. What inspired you to pursue a career in real estate?
Inspired me, I would say just I like looking at homes. I've always had a passion for looking at homes, even when I was younger, just on Zillow. And obviously, like the money, if I think if you stay committed to it, you can make great amount of money without a degree.
That is very true. That is very true. How long have you been doing real estate now?
I've been doing it for 4 years now.
How did you start? What made? I mean, I know you were talking about how you like to see homes, but did you know anybody in real estate, or How did you say, you know what? I'm about to get serious. Let's go.
COVID hit. I was working as a waitress at a Italian restaurant, and I realized, now is the time to get into something that I like and that I'm passionate about. And I had a friend on Facebook, and I would always see him post beautiful homes, and until I decided to reach out to him and see what options and what I needed to get started.
That is awesome. Well, since you've been doing real estate here for a while, what's going on right now in Las Vegas market?
Inventory is very, very low, so demand is very high. Nobody wants to sell and let go of that 2% interest rate, 3% interest rate. So you're still seeing multiple offers on many homes.
The sellers, most of them are locked in at 3%, and they don't want to move to what's currently now 7%. Correct?
That's right. Yeah, nobody wants to give up that interest rate unless they have to.
Unless they have to. And everybody, when you need to move, you need to move. Another question is, how do you stay informed in what's happening here in Las Vegas? How do you know all the information that you can tell your clients this is what's going on?
I always stay updated with, the market analysis and all that. I always look at the comps every week, different areas. You want to be as informed as possible because that's the only way you're truly going to help out a client, whether it's a seller or a buyer.
100%. 100%. And in today's environment, since we have low inventory, high interest rate, are there people still moving in?
To Vegas?
Yes.
Yes, definitely. Most of our buyers right now are from out of state. Unfortunately, a lot of the people that were born and raised in Nevada or Vegas, they can't afford it as much with the wage out here. So we're seeing a lot of
Yeah.
out of state clients.
That is very true. And even though we're not as affordable as we used to be before, we're still pretty affordable compared to other states?
Definitely. Yep.
What advice would you give somebody that is thinking about buying a home in this current environment, which is high interest rates, low inventory? What advice would you give to them?
If it's not going to break your bank, get your foot in the door. It's better to get your foot in the door now than later on when it's late and it gets even more expensive.
That is very, very, very true. Tell us a little bit, Astrid, of how you balance your personal life and your work life. Is there such a thing as balance, by the way?
To be honest, I'm always in business mode, whether I'm on
Yes, you are.
vacation or out with family or anything like that, get-togethers. I'm always thinking business and I'm always available for my clients. But, there's times where I do like to have fun and do different things other than real estate. But even when I'm doing other things, networking is always the key.
You mentioned something, networking. Where do you network besides obviously the normal routes here at the office and the technology that we have? But where do you mostly network outside of the office?
I like to fine dine a lot, and a lot of those people that work in that industry, servers, waitresses, they can afford to buy a house, especially in these fine dining restaurants, but also nightclubs. I tend to go out to nightclubs a lot and do a lot of networking as well.
Nightclubs. Let's talk about nightclubs in Las Vegas because, correct me if I'm wrong, don't we have some of the best nightclubs in the world? Really?
That's right. Yeah, I was actually reading an article 2 days ago that in the U.S., Vegas is the number one city for club destinations.
And I have to tell you, I went to Omnia, I think it's
Omnia,
called
yeah.
Omnia, and it was an amazing experience. Even though I'm not really into that kind of music, it was a great experience, especially because we were VIP. A friend of mine was gracious enough to invite us. What are some of the nightclubs that are most popular here in Vegas?
You have a couple different ones. You always hear about Dre's nightclub. They have a different artist performing every weekend. And then you also have Zook. My favorite right now is Live inside Fontainebleau. It's the newest one we have, and they started off in Miami, and it's one of my favorite ones right now.
We definitely need to go check that out. And when you mentioned that you network there, what is it that you met the cocktail waitress? Do you give her your card? How does that conversation start?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, most of these cocktail waitresses are going to be women, obviously, and women are more comfortable with women.
Yes.
And so, you talk to them, you get to know them, you let them know you're in real estate, exchange. Social media is very important in
Yep.
that aspect. Yeah, like I said, that's pretty much, I network mostly with them. And obviously other people that are maybe in the tables next to me, stuff like that.
What are you've been doing real estate now for since COVID, and you're doing great right now. You've been super consistent, which is very hard to do in real estate. Do you have any kind of deals that you remember that you go, you know what, this was such a hard deal, but I feel so proud of it? Do you have any of those?
Yes, I have two. To keep it short and simple, my clients overlisted the house, and we were aware of that as well as they were.
Yeah.
And we still ended up selling $37,000 above value, in as-is condition, no repairs, no incentives, and they were more than ecstatic.
I remember that deal. That was a great deal, and you did an amazing job. How did you navigate towards, or even tell the other agent that is presenting the offer, listen, I know we're overpriced, but we're worth it? What do you do?
Well, you got to know what's around your listing. You got to know the neighborhood, the subdivision. There was nothing of that square footage with a pool, with the upgrades it had. There was nothing. So since inventory was very low, we were able to overprice, and it definitely showed, and we sold above list.
So it's very important to know your market.
Definitely, yeah.
What's another deal that you say, you know what, this one, takes me home?
Another client of mine from Utah, he wanted to buy a house out here, but he didn't need to buy a house. He said, look, I don't want to waste your time. Unless you meet my criteria, I don't want to buy. Spent hours on the MLS searching and searching until I found the one, sent it over, and he flew in the next day.
I remember that house. That house actually had multiple offers, and it was a beautiful home. Everybody wanted that house, correct? As a single story?
That's right, yeah. So you also you have to know how to get your foot in the door as an agent. We put the offer even before he came in to see it. Offer was accepted, and we went to see the property, and they were still showing the property while we were under contract.
Let's talk about that. You need to put your foot in the door with the other agent. How do you deal with the other agents? Because sometimes what a lot of people don't know is that we're the same agents.
Right.
How do you deal with the other side, when you want to present a lower offer or something so they can pay attention to you? How do you deal with that?
I like to personally call them and introduce myself, and most importantly, let them know the standing of my buyer. How strong is your buyer? How much money are they putting down? Do they need this? Do they need that? I think that's very important, and I think that's why we locked it up, even though they had a line when we left the property.
Yeah.
After seeing it, there was a line outside of the house.
For people that are thinking about joining real estate, what is the one advice that you could give to them if they want to get into this business of ours? And what is the one thing that you think will help them the most?
Don't go a day without prospecting. It's the only way
Very
you're going to be
important.
successful in this business.
Very important. Very important. What kind of prospecting do you do every day?
A little bit of everything. I like to do social media. I like to do cold calls, expireds. The tradition way works. It still does.
It really does. It really does. And of course, you have a website, which I'll put on the link, where people can go in there, register, and see everything that is available. That is a very cool website, VegasHomeHunter.com. Astrid, another thing that a lot of people have a misconception on is how easy it is to become a real estate agent, and how we see all of these shows on TV saying, well, I'm going to show this $5 million home, sell it, get the money, drive the Mercedes. How true is that in real world?
Unless you have a big sphere and a sphere that trusts you enough to do those type of transactions for them, then that's that. I think that most of that comes down to luck, but most of the time it comes down to your work, to your hard work, to prospecting, making those calls, maybe door knocking if that's what some people do. I like to do a lot of open houses, internet leads, social media, all that kind of stuff.
So you pretty much got to have different pillars in order to have a balanced business, because you cannot put all of the eggs on one basket, and we've seen that's a disaster.
Exactly. You can't expect for your sphere, for your brother, for your sister, your cousins to make your career blossom into something huge. That's only going to work for so long.
Which is still important, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you do. I mean, you have to do
Correct.
everything else. Another thing that it's a misconception I believe, and tell me your side of it, is everything is immediate, which is I think is completely opposite. What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, you'll get deals there and then that are immediate.
Yes.
But most of the time, it's a long-term game. It's a follow-up game. I mean, real estate is follow-up. That's really what it is.
Let's repeat that one more time.
Real estate is follow-up.
And out of all of the deals that you have done, how many of them have been immediate and how many of them have been 16 months, 18 months?
Some of them, I mean, I've had a couple, like I said, that have been immediate, but most of them have taken 6 to 8 months, some of them even a year.
Right. And that's why follow up in this business is super important.
Having a CRM system, something that's going to remind you to give them a call because, in 2-3 weeks, you might forget about someone, but if you put it in your system, you'll be reminded.
Well, let's talk about the technology in order to become successful in this industry. How important is it to have a CRM and to have a website and to have an office and to have a social media presence in a very competitive market like it is today? How important is it in your business?
I think it's very important. I don't think a business is legit, at least in my opinion, unless you have a website.
Correct.
Reviews are very important. Is there a place where your clients can leave reviews for potential new clients to look at? It all comes down to having a website and having a business online.
It's so important. And with all of this wonderful stuff that we have going on, as far as, you having a lot of success lately and very consistent over the last 12 months, there are always some difficult clients. How do you deal with difficult clients and we have all had them, but how do you deal with that stress in general?
I don't show it to my clients, and there's times where it is stressful, don't get me wrong. But I think, at least for the 4 years of my career, I haven't really had anything that stressful. And
Correct.
even when I do have clients that are a little bit more stricter, very picky, they're looking for specific stuff. If you go look at my reviews, even those clients that tend to be a little harder, that didn't work with other agents, leave me wonderful reviews.
They do leave you. They really do care about you, and they are super grateful after everything is said and done. What are some of the key factors that people should consider when they're moving here to Las Vegas? What are some of the advantages?
I mean, from what I've seen, there's a lot of jobs out here, and a lot of people can work remote out here as well. You have great places to eat. Yes, it's very hot, but we also only get about 3 months of that. Other than that, it's more nice weather and then
Yes.
winter.
Yes.
I don't know. I mean, I love Vegas. You can go eat at 4 a.m. sushi. I mean, not many places you can go get sushi at 4 in the morning.
That is so true. That is so true. And you can have not only sushi but everything else that you may like. We talked about the importance of having the technology behind you. If you're a new agent coming into a very competitive market, what do you think? Solo agent or join a team?
People have different beliefs. In my opinion, I think you will become what you are taught, and for me, it's all about experience and profession.
Yeah.
Yes, I could come in and sell a house to my uncle and my aunt with no experience.
Sure.
But once you start getting to specific clientele levels and all that, I think you need a mentor, and your mentor is very important. Even if I have to split some commission, but I'm getting the knowledge that I can then give over to my clients.
That is 100% true. I actually started on a team back in 2005, and yeah, I mean the knowledge that I got from all of the experiences from that team leader, that he was willing to share with me, it made my career so much easier because I bypassed so many hurdles that I didn't have to do it because he had already done it. What's your daily schedule like? What do you do every day?
I wake up around 8 in the morning, eat breakfast, do what I have to do, just things at home. I try to be in the office every day by at least 10:30 a.m. And then I do an hour calls of cold calling or prospecting, an hour of that. And then I go to my internet leads, and then I take a little break, usually get lunch, get back on the calling, and try to do at least one social media video a day.
That's very important about the social media, and the consistency of prospecting is super key. But one of the things that people need to know too, you call me, it could be midnight, it could be 1 in the morning, and you're always working. I've had multiple calls when you call me and go, sorry to call you, or text you, can you help me with these comparatives? When do you shut it off?
Until my eyes close, I guess. I mean, technically, I've had clients, if I'm still awake at 1 in the morning, I'll text back a minute later.
Yes, I'm very aware of that. And by the way, clients love it. Is there a thing? Is there such a thing as a balance? And that's not a question that I'm asking everybody. Because a lot of people say, "Well, I gotta balance my life between business and real estate." Is that possible in real estate?
I think in this business, the reason the failing rate is so high is because many agents don't work weekends, or they're off on holidays, or they think it's a regular 9 to 5,
It's
and it's
not.
not. This is a job that you're working 24 hours a day sometimes, and I don't think I don't at least myself I don't take any days off. Weekends, I tend to do open houses every weekend,
Yes.
Monday through Friday at the office. Even when I'm on vacation, I'm still making calls. I'm still doing things before I do my other activities.
It's very important because as business owners, self-employed, we don't have a boss.
That's
So
right.
if we wake up one day and we don't want to do the hard call or do the post on social media, nobody's going to say anything. But one of the things that is going to suffer is the wallet. So how do you stay motivated every day to keep doing the boring stuff, the stuff that is not so glamorous,
Exciting, right.
exciting, like showing homes, and because that's what everybody thinks that we do, but in reality, there's a lot more that goes behind actually showing homes. How do you stay motivated?
I stay motivated when not just when I see those paychecks, but just my numbers in sales, knowing that I'm able to be successful on my own.
Yes.
And I mean, as you know, this is one of my best years.
Yes.
Even while having 2, 3 in escrow, I'm still doing open houses.
100%.
So it just depends how far you want to go. You are your only limitation.
You are your only limitation. Astrid Rodriguez coming in and dropping bombs over here. You are your only limitations. Astrid, what is the one thing that you want to do in your career? What are the next 5 years to look for you in your mind?
Real estate, I know for the next 5, 10, 15 years, I plan on being in real estate until I retire. Just growing my clientele, I do all types of price points. I want to stick a little bit more on the luxury end, but I
Yes.
also want to do every other price point.
Do you see yourself doing a team?
To be honest with you, it's not something that I'm interested in right now. Obviously I like being a part of your team, but before I do a team, I think I would be a solo agent.
You'd be a solo agent before building a team, because having a team is a whole different ballpark as
Right.
well. Well, Astrid, thank you so much for meeting with me today. I had a wonderful time like
Thank you.
always, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.